We continue Paul by Walter Wangerin, hearing the voice of Jude, a man living in Damascus, who at this point has a blind Pharisee named Saul from Jerusalem in his house, trying to figure out what to do. The man's companions that were traveling with him have gone back to Jerusalem, and here he is with this man in his house. The novel continues. The leaders of the synagogues in Damascus are good and faithful men, some of them my oldest friends. They danced when Hodesh and I were married. They invited us to the circumcision of their sons. They wept when I laid Hodesh in her grave. We are all of the same mind. We love God, we love Torah, and we yearn to preserve these things for our children and our children's children. At noon, the leaders of the synagogues came to my house and knocked on the door. "Jude," they said, "is Saul the Pharisee here?" "Yes," I said, "he is here." I stood in the doorway nodding, "Yes, yes." But I didn't move. "That's what we've heard," they said. "Zephaniah told us that he met the Pharisee when you came home last night." "Zephaniah is a good man," I said, nodding. "It was very late when we arrived, yet he cooked a supper for us." I still didn't move. I looked down at my feet. "We have come to welcome your guest," they said, "and to hear what he might have to say to us." I scratched my chin whiskers. "You will be very impressed," I said. "Saul's a righteous man, full of learning and strength and vigor. When he walks, he makes me tired. Ha, ha, ha. But when he talks, he makes me wise. Yes, the Lord has sent us a teacher. Yes, indeed." "Well, Jude," they said, "why don't you invite us in? Then we can see this good man for ourselves." "Well, but I have some bad news," I said, now lifting my face and looking at them with a kind of pleading. "While we were traveling yesterday, he fell sick." "Sick?" Their expressions showed a true sympathy. "What is the matter?" "It's his eyes," I said. "He's having trouble with his eyes." That explains why Zephaniah thought he was acting strange last night. So you see, this is not a good time to visit. The leaders of the synagogues looked at one another and, by their looking alone, came to a decision. "Jude, you are a kind and generous host," they said. "Please greet Saul for us, and when he's ready, call us. We will wait upon your word." Such gratitude flooded down through my soul that I could hardly speak. It surprised me how moved I was. "Oh, my friends, my dear old friends," I said, embracing them. "Saul will be well, and when he is well, I promise you, he will do well too." I watched them go with gladness in my heart and with worry too. I watched them go, and only slightly had I changed the truth before the leaders of the synagogues, but it was necessary to change the truth a little. I was a man in ignorance, alas. Also, I had great tenderness for Saul to protect him, both his body and his reputation, until he was strong again. Yet how to make him strong again? I did not know this. Ignorance made me helpless. Not once that day did he eat or drink. I laid the food beside him, but he didn't touch it. I laid a cup of water against his lips and tipped it, but the water only dribbled down his chin. Saul didn't so much as wave the flies away from his eyes. They landed where moisture leaked through the crust. They ate and drank while Saul sat cross-legged on his pallet and rocked. All day long, he rocked and he sighed and he groaned softly to himself. Only when I knelt beside him and began to chant the evening prayer did he cease groaning. It seemed he was listening. I took comfort in that, but neither of us slept that night. It's hard for me to sleep any time, but when there is a guest in my house whose groans are so deep that there are no words for them, sleep is impossible. Jude, I need you. Well, that seemed impossible too. God gave me the guest, but God hadn't told me what to do for him.